The answer to the question, what is the purpose of life, is one that has been toiled over by the greatest minds for millennia, when the answer is very obvious and very simple. The purpose of life is to get you some.
It ain't no step for a stepper.
From an evolutionary standpoint, this is 100% true. The goal of any living organism is to pass its genes on to that of the next generation. That means whether you're an amoeba, a cricket, a tree, or a human, your primary purpose in life is to create a vessel from which your genes can outlive you. This is what someone who's not a tech executive would call a child. Since it is a survival advantage to seek out a mate, over thousands of years, different genetic mutations which wire our brain to prioritize finding one or multiple partners to make a child happen has become an instinctual part of our nature. This is what we modern folk would call. On top of this, all of your features are built around protecting you from anything that would prevent you from surviving long enough to have a kid. Your hands make it easy for you to get food into your mouth. Your feet make it easy for you to escape any sort of danger that you may find yourself in. Your skull is thick enough to protect your brain from any bonk from a tree branch or punch from a fellow tribesman. And your stomach is designed to crave that burger and fries from Five Guys. On top of this, all of us are lucky enough to come with a feature called intelligence. To our knowledge, we are the only species who isn't satisfied with living blissfully oblivious to the world that exists beyond frolicking, foraging, and... As we strayed further and further from our hunter-gatherer and tribal ways of life, humans began to come up with their own ideas for the purpose of life. They rejected that something as trivial as survival is the only thing to be achieved within this lifetime. Some people dedicate their lives to mastery of sport. Some people dedicate their lives to a higher power, and some to the study of relaxation and tomfoolery. The individual is the first layer where we can see a difference between the evolutionary or given purpose and a chosen purpose. While we all still want to survive, we all seek out for ourselves that which makes our lives worth living. Special carve out for all those edgy, super fun to hang out with people out there. Going up a layer, communities also have a goal given to it by layering genetic mutations on top of each other for thousands of years. Communities are built to, get this, ensure that humans survive long enough to pass their genes on to the next generation. Seeing a pattern here? There's a couple different ways that communities do this. They create close contact with other humans, giving the basis for communication skills. Developing these skills allows humans to alert each other of danger and pass on survival knowledge, something that would otherwise have to be learned at an individual level through a long, drawn-out period of trial and error. This proximity also allows humans to learn cooperation. Sharing a goal such as gathering food, building shelter, or finding drinking water is a lot more advantageous than trying to do it all yourself. It is even the reason that we develop emotions like empathy, which create a sense of morality, preventing us from only taking and never contributing to the survival goals of our group. Guilt is an adaptation that allowed your ancestors to get their lazy cousin to help with the hunt. And now you can't forget your friends' birthdays without feeling like a monster. The community's purpose is to harness the strength which comes with numbers, giving an advantage to the group in terms of survival. As the probability that the group will survive reaches closer and closer to 100%, communities also begin to look for purpose beyond just basic cooperation and assistance. These days, communities provide a wide range of opportunities, from throwing the best house parties and backyard ragers to providing a space for people with common interests and hobbies to interact and hang out. Another organism or group which finds itself with a given purpose and a chosen purpose. Moving up a layer, we have society. This is the layer where social structure, order, and the cultural elements of the human experience which come with scale are introduced. Society goes beyond the human-to-human cooperation which comes with communities and sets up systems and structures that, get this, ensures that humans have the opportunity to one day mate, and therefore upping the probability that another generation is to follow. Society is what allows us to combat bad actors that would otherwise pose a threat to an individual's existence, or manage the tensions that comes with different groups and communities coexisting. Society is the evolutionary antidote to the evolutionary instinct for territorialism and violence. Once again, societies get to a point where they're run so smoothly that survival is almost guaranteed, giving people enough time to think and ponder. The original need is met, so now it's time to create democracy, build monuments to our deities, and to explore the 7 seas and the universe beyond. Some societies even come up with a new goal every 4 years. The important thing to take away from this walk down memory lane is the fact that everything beyond ensuring that its citizens and members live past puberty is entirely optional. Not only is the chosen goal of these societies optional, the way that they get there is also their choice. What I'm getting at is the structures and systems that we live with today that feel very fixed and very permanent are constructs, meaning at some point they were just made up. When people say time is a construct, they refer to this train of thought. The way we measure the passage of time is man-made. Instead of a 24-hour clock, we could have made it a 10-hour clock. But someone at some point decided that this was the way it was going to be. This is the same for governments, money, markets, religion, and every aspect of modern life. The mastery of survival, especially since the Industrial Revolution, feels so far behind us that the way that we achieve this goal is now getting in our way. The distance between a human today and the three necessities of life is a very large one, in a different way than that of the first balding monkey. Quality inputs and ownership of them, as well as ownership of a way to obtain them, is extremely inaccessible to the majority. If you wanted to build a shelter and have enough food and water to survive the winter, it's a lot less simple than just going out there and setting up camp. There is now a bunch of man-made systems in place for how you obtain food, water, and shelter, each requiring a significant input from you, the individual, and a degree of hoarding and selfishness by those who already have it. We have shown that we can conquer our environment and ensure the survival of our species, but my question is, at what cost? We have created incredible convenience for those who can access it, but it comes at the expense of billions of others. All the guardrails and red tape which doesn't allow people to simply stake a claim to some land and sustain themselves and a family, they are all completely optional, yet people argue that it is completely impossible for us to live in a world without these guardrails. I think the chosen goal of our now global society should be to ensure the survival of our species in a way which is peaceful, dignified, and fair. Peaceful in a sense that people don't live in fear of their leaders. Dignified in the sense that people put in a fair amount of their time for a just piece of the pie. Fair in the sense that we treat the environment in which we survive with respect, as well as our bodies and the bodies of the next generation. Looking at our rap sheet of past feats and accomplishments, this should be a walk in the park. The most important part of our goal is now the how do we get there. It can be as radically different from the how or the system that we use today as we would like. Our how today is one which requires a minimum of 40 hours a week of your time just for a borrowed shelter, contaminated food, and a less than clean drinking water supply. Our current how is one which sees community and celebration as a nuisance and a potential threat. Our current how is one which is digging itself into a hole that is about to cave in on itself. Our current how, in almost every way, is in direct conflict with the thousands of years of genetic mutations that allowed us to survive to this point. We need to peel back some of the layers of the onion and get back to basics. Our chosen goals are in conflict with our given ones, which means our how is in conflict with human and Mother Nature. By making our goals in tune and considerate of the natural order of things, our how won't result in a sucker punch in the face from Mother Nature and our own population. It is time for a period of pause and reevaluation. All the races we are trying to win against each other, which justifies this whole charade, are made up anyway. If this many people are struggling, not because there's not enough food, not because there's not enough water, and not because there isn't enough shelter, then we are doing it completely wrong. If our struggles are our choice, then it isn't very empathetic to stay stuck in our ways. Even that lazy Homo sapien from 30,000 BC can understand me on this one. So, as the most genetically advanced in your bloodline, what do you think? Am I crazy? Leave it down in the comments below. If you think I'm on the right path, hit the subscribe button. And as always, keep thinking.